Hey there, Jonathan Sports. So I'm back at it again with my videos and my expectations for every positional group. And today I'm going to be talking about the defensive line. So it's already been in my head which position group I think is like the strength of the team. And it was down to the secondary and the defensive line. So until I can see a couple games next year, I'm going with the defensive line at this point. Now, most people would probably say Leonard Williams is the best player on the line, but I think Dexter Lawrence will give Williams a run for his money this season. I personally think that Dexter is the best pick that Gettleman has made since he's been the GM of the Giants. Dexter Lawrence is as good of a run defender as you're going to see in the NFL. I put him up there with like the Vita Vea. I'm not kidding when I say that. Dex had a missed tackle rate 3.96. Wait, it's either 3.6% or 3.9% last year. So I believe he doubled up his tackles and sack mark from his first to his second season. Just about, anyways. And he played less percentage of plays, his second season compared to his first. Now I know Williams got a huge, paycheck, but I expect Dex to be the best defensive lineman on this team. I made a video last week, that I called 4 breakout players in 2021. I made a prediction that Dex would have an 8-sack season, and I'm not budging that prediction. I feel strongly that Dex will be the best player on the Giants next season. I expect his play time to go up exponentially, and for him to double his stats again. I think the sky's the limit for this kid, and he could easily go down as the Giants' best interior defensive line player before it's all said and done. That's how high I am on Dexter Lawrence. Alright, so I think I've sucked off Dexter enough. Let's talk about Leonard Williams. I was one of the people who didn't like the trade, and I can say I'm probably wrong about it. I just did not see that kind of season coming. 11 sacks, whatever it was. I also didn't want to give him more than, $20 million. I was thinking like that $18 million is right around the sweet spot. But I guess, at the end of the day, Gettleman didn't really have a choice. He would have looked like a complete asshole if he let Leonard walk for nothing. I'm not sure if Williams is ever going to be able to live up to the contract, but, my fingers are crossed, obviously. Williams is always going to give you a ton of pressures, a ton of quarterback hits. The sack total, that I'm not sure he can sustain like last season. My biggest concern with Williams is that, he disappeared in big crucial games down the stretch last year. With the Cardinals game and the Ravens game. But, if we're going to be a top flight team in defense, we're going to need Williams to show up in big moments and big games. And I'm just not sold on him yet, not quite yet. If he can do that. I'm going to give him credit though. Last year he was awesome, especially in the Seahawks game, the last game of the year at Dallas. Other than last year, Leonard Williams, I believe, only has had one other year over 6 sacks. So I'm not going to undersell his value in the run defense and causing havoc in the backfield, even if the play doesn't result in a sack. But I got the feeling that Williams won't live up to the contract in the public's eyes. So when you make $21 million plus or whatever it is a season, you're expected to get 10 plus sacks a year in my eyes. My expectations for, myself is that Williams will end up top 3 in quarterback pressures. He's one of the best run defending defensive tackles in the NFL. And as long as he can get 6 to 10 sacks a year at a minimum, I don't think that's asking too much for a player that's making that kind of money he is. I'd be good with it. So anyways, moving on to Danny Shelton. I don't have crazy expectations for him. I think he can be as good against the run as Dalvin, but you're not going to get very much in the pass rush department. Obviously he'll be less of a player, but I don't have huge expectations. Dalvin actually had an off season last year. His missed tackle rate was pretty high, 12%. That was odd for him, but Dalvin did, was a plus in the pass rushing. To me, BJ Hill will be fine, stepping in for him. BJ Hill will be fine for depth. I'm actually excited to see what BJ Hill can do. To me, BJ is as good as it gets for an interior D-line depth player. So if Dexter Lawrence don't see more snaps like I'm predicting this season, BJ could have a huge year for himself. I'd love to see BJ go get a good deal for himself, because I don't see others any way we could pay him any kind of money here. So I think a huge season for BJ on limited snaps is 5 or 6 sacks. I expect BJ to have somewhere from 3 to 6 sacks myself. unless Gettleman grabs a 3-tech defensive tackle in one of the first 4 rounds. Well, we all know the way Gettleman is. It would not surprise me. I expect Austin Johnson to have the same role as last season, unless there's an injury, obviously. I like Austin. I think he's a good player, and I really don't have any concerns with him. He's capable of making plays, and every time I think of him, I have flashes of the Rams game last year where he had a huge sack, a huge forced fumble, and really kept us in that game. So I do think he has some upside. I'm not sure if R.J. McIntosh will make the team, but I like him. He seems like he's decent pass rusher. Just hasn't had much playing time here, so I wouldn't mind seeing some snaps for him. So that's all that I got for the D-line. We're sitting pretty right now. I think when the next 10 years goes by and you look back, I think we might have some nostalgia of the next 3 years to come here. We've had great D linemen in the 80s, and we ran a 3-4. There's Leonard Williams, Jim Burt, and George Martin, the old timer. But we got a chance to top them here, the squad. This may be the best group of in Giants history on the inside. Now, we need to get some outside pass rushers here. I'm not expecting to find an LT, but let's find the next Carl Banks. I had high hopes for Lorenzo Carter. Players that tear their Achilles usually take 2 years to return to their previous form. I hope we could find a good edge in the draft. That would be nice, but anyways, I don't want to get too far off tangent. Go back to defensive tackles, and I expect this unit to be the strength of this defense. It helps so much when you can clog up the line and free up your linebackers to cover downfield. You never got to worry about a team running the ball down your throat and just running you out of the game. I know that a lot of Giants fans want to go back to a 4-3, but trying to see how this defense and these big guys allow the linebackers to do whatever they want. They allow us to scheme blitzes from all over in so many different kinds of ways. They also allow your edge guys to be able to drop back coverage, disguise all kinds of different coverages. Don't give up on the 3-4. And I've been just seeing a lot of people in comments just 4-3, 4-3. It's hard to run a 3-4 without a good edge guy, and I think that's why we're seeing some trouble getting to the quarterback and all that. But anyways, that's it for me. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. Everybody, enjoy the good weather we've been having. Last 3 days have been awesome. The weekend is here. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell for all my videos.